Sony's rumored FX8 has been one of the louder gear conversations of 2025, and for good reason. If the leaks are true, Sony is preparing a cinema camera that pushes resolution, flexibility, and future-proofing in a way we haven't seen from the company's more compact cinema bodies. The core rumor is that the FX8 will use a full-frame sensor with roughly 96 million total pixels, marketed as a 12K class sensor, and that Sony will prioritize extremely high resolution and dual-format shooting, full-frame and Super 35, over-baking every high-end recording option into the body. That means internal recording will likely rely on Sony's XAVC family, with 8K 30 and 4K 60 modes rumored, while the camera will offer external, high-bit depth RAW output, 16-bit via SDI, at certain frame rates and crop modes, including 3.8K 16-bit RAW, up to 120 frames per second for slow motion. The picture being painted by these leaks suggests a major step up from Sony's FX6 or FX9 line in native resolution, while still leaning on external recorders for the most demanding workflows. Looking at the sensor and image strategy first, a 12K full-frame sensor brings real creative benefits. The high pixel count allows aggressive downsampling to 8K and 4K deliverables, which can produce cleaner images and more flexibility in post for reframing or stabilization. The ability to switch to Super 35 modes also preserves lens choices and depth of field control for cinematographers who prefer a more classic video look. The trade-off with any very high megapixel sensor tends to be readout speed, heat, and data rates. High resolution means huge files, intense processing demands, and greater potential for rolling shutter if Sony doesn't pair the sensor with an unusually fast readout stack. That appears to be exactly the balance the rumors describe. A sensor that gives huge creative headroom, but with some readout/processing limits that push Sony to offload the heaviest work to external recorders. When we place the FX8's rumored approach beside the Canon EOS C50, the differences become clearer in practical terms. Canon's C50 is a compact, video-first cinema camera built around a 32-megapixel full-frame sensor with strong internal video credentials. It offers internal 7K RAW, recording up to 60p, 4K 120 high frame rates, Canon's dual-pixel AF2, and Canon's Cinema RAW light options. All inside a small, usable body with dual-base ISO and professional audio options. The C50 is designed to be a self-contained production tool that gives filmmakers high-quality internal RAW and high frame rates without needing an external recorder. By contrast, the FX8 pushes resolution much higher but relies on XAVC internal recording for practical day-to-day capture and external RAW for the highest fidelity workflows. For operators who want RAW inside the camera and a small, simple rig, the C50's approach will feel more practical. For teams that prioritize extreme resolution and are already set up for external recording and heavy post, the FX8's pixel count and flexibility could be more attractive. Comparing Sony's rumored FX8 to Fujifilm's recent move into cinema complicates the discussion in a good way. Fujifilm's GFX Eterna 55 takes a very different route. Medium format sensors with extremely large physical size and massive dynamic range, combined with 8K internal recording and Fujifilm's film simulation color science. The GFX cinema platform sells itself on tonality, color, and the unique look of medium format, and it's aimed at high-end cinematographers who want the medium format aesthetic and are prepared to handle the heavier lenses, rigs, and costs that come with it. The FX8's 12K full-frame sensor promises more resolution than the typical medium-format cinebody while remaining in the full-frame lens ecosystem. So the choice here is about look and workflow. Fujifilm's GFX cinema body is about medium-format color and feel with strong internal codecs, whereas Sony's FX8 is about extreme pixel density and flexible output, relying on external RAW for the most demanding projects. Fujifilm is selling an in-body cinema solution with medium format appeal. Sony, per leaks, might be selling a resolution and flexibility advantage for shooters who can manage a recorder. Nikon's recently announced ZR, the RED co-branded compact cinema camera, offers yet another contrast that highlights where the FX8 would sit in the market. The ZR heads to a different niche. It's a compact video-centric camera built on a 24 to 25 megapixel stacked full-frame sensor with in-camera R3D&E, red RAW recording, high dynamic range, and video-first features like 6K 60 RAW and 4K 120. Nikon's path emphasizes internal RAW and close RED integration in a relatively small body, which appeals to single-operator shooters and teams wanting a compact RED workflow without a heavy rig. The FX8 rumors suggest Sony is aiming for higher resolution but less internal RAW convenience, again reinforcing the foundational split in the market: internal RAW and compactness versus extremely high resolution and external RAW flexibility. If you need internal RED/RAW and the tight RED pipeline, Nikon's ZR is a tempting option. If you want huge megapixel buffers for reframing and downsampled clean 4K from 12K, the FX8 would be the tool to consider, provided you accept the external recorder dependency. Practically speaking, the FX8's likely strengths are clear: image quality headroom, reframing freedom, flexible aspect ratio choices, and close ties to Sony's lens and monitor ecosystem. Its likely weaknesses are also obvious: the need for external recorders for true high-bit depth RAW, heavy data workflow requirements, and potentially more complex on-set handling compared with cameras that bake RAW into the body. For independent creators, news shooters, or run-and-gun teams, an internal RAW camera like the Canon C50 or the compact RED or Nikon ZR offering could be easier to adopt. For larger productions, VFX houses, and cinematographers who want maximum pixel data for stabilization, compositing, or high-end finishing, the FX8's rumored 12K strategy could be compelling. Finally, timing. Multiple industry sources point to Sony revealing the FX8 at IBC 2025, which would make the announcement part of a broader fall 2025 gear wave. An IBC reveal would fit Sony's pattern of using major exhibitions for big cinema announcements, and it gives camera buyers a clear event to watch for official specs, pricing, and availability. Until Sony publishes full specs and shipping dates, buyers should treat the FX8 as a high-potential but unconfirmed option that represents one clear philosophy in cinema camera design: push resolution and rely on ecosystem tools rather than pack every capability into the camera body itself.